Welcome, everybody.
Hey guys.
Happy Wednesday. Yes,
Yes, it
happy
is
Wednesday.
Wednesday.
Um, Today we are here for one of our famous webinars. My name is Mike.
I'm Kai.
Yeah, today we're going to be talking about a really cool product line, the Casa Forcello Mostardas. But first, Kai, you want to tell us a little bit about everybody who comes to these? We know you probably know who we are, but
Yeah.
we like to run through it just in case your first time tuning in, or just in case you need a reminder of who we are and what our
Yeah.
background is. So,
Yeah.
Kai, you want to run us through that?
Yeah. So Forever Cheese, we are a importer of specialty foods from Italy, Spain, Portugal, Switzerland, Croatia, and now a few domestic products as well.
Mhm.
Um,
Yep, and in the last couple of years, we've started to expand beyond just cheese and accompaniments.
mhm.
We are now working with a company called WA Imports. They are based out of Chicago, but they
Mhm.
bring in some of the coolest East Asian condiments, yuzu juices, shoyus, a bunch of different really, really cool stuff.
Which we.
If you haven't heard about that line, definitely reach out because it's awesome stuff.
Mhm.
And we're also working with a company down in Virginia called Virginia Packing. They are doing some really cool stuff in terms of the different formats that we can now offer of our products. Yeah, it's been really cool having that expansion.
Yeah, so with that expansion comes expansion within our own company here.
Even within our own warehouse.
Yes, so we are here in the product studio where we film webinars, obviously, as well as live videos, education videos. So reach out to us if you all want to do any trainings or live trainings or anything like that.
Yes.
So welcome to our space.
Welcome to the space. Please take advantage of this. I know we're all scattered across the country in many cases, so I'm using this space for remote trainings, as Kai said, for any sort of support that you need. It's a great way for us to be able to reach you, remotely. So again, coming back to what are we talking about today? We are talking about the Casa Forcello line of mostardas. What
Yes.
is mostarda? I don't want to spoil
What
it.
is
We're going to
Mostarda?
talk about it in a second.
Yes.
But this is from Le Tamarici. And we do have some guests that we are going to have join us just shortly after we go through these products, which I don't want to spoil that either.
Yeah.
But they are based out of Mantova in Italy. Yeah, so we're going to highlight a few products
Yep.
right now. There's even broader line of products. We just don't have time in the day to go through
No.
everything. So which ones are we going to talk
So
about today?
the four products we're kind of going to highlight today are going to be the pear mostarda here, the green tomato mostarda, the white watermelon mostarda, as well as the crab apple mostarda. So four really excellent kind of iterations, a few very esoteric kind of flavors that we're also going to pair alongside some charcuterie that we've picked out. And we'll tell you a little bit about why we picked charcuterie.
Mhm.
But the charcuterie that we are going to highlight is going to be the rustico salami, the serrano, the chorizo iberico, as well
Mhm.
as the lomo iberico. So
Mhm.
all really rich, light, mellow options to go alongside these pairings.
So just to give you guys a sense of timing here, we're going to talk for 15, 20 minutes or so, walking you through these specific products.
Mhm.
We're definitely going to try and leave some time at the end, like I said, to say hi to our guests, as well as hopefully give you guys time to ask questions. You can start shooting questions over any moment. Our wonderful producer,
Yes.
Sabrina, is behind the scenes here, and she'll be keeping an eye out for that and relay those to us at the very end. But if they pop into your head, feel free to pop them into the chat. But yeah, without further ado, let's solve the biggest mystery of the day, which is what is mostarda?
What is
What
it?
is it? Nobody knows except that we know. So this is mostarda it's a traditional Italian condiment. It is basically just candied fruit that has a specific mustard extract added. And we'll talk a little bit about what that process is. But that's what it is. It's something a lot of people haven't tried. It's not mustard. Don't get that confused, but it does incorporate mustard into the condiment. How is it applied? We'll go into some specifics,
Mhm.
but this is meant to bring some pep, some added sweetness as well as sort of pungent pep to any sort of dish.
Yeah, which is how it was
Mhm.
originally kind of meant to be used,
Yeah. Do you
right?
want to
So a
talk a little
little
bit of
bit about the
the background?
geography,
Yeah.
background, and where it's coming from. So, like we said, it is coming from Mantova, Italy, a little gem in Lombardy, and it has been made for centuries at this point. So, mostarda, kind of the first document we have of mostarda is from the 14th century. And it was from one of the palace cooks, actually, of that time, who left these cookbooks that showed us these beautiful feasts. Like, think those paintings back in the day, where with those big
pheasant over here, and there's like a pig
feasts with pheasants and, big
everything.
roasted chickens and, boiled meat, things
Yeah.
like that. So it kind of originates there, which is the reason that we've decided to kind of show you all some pairings alongside some charcuterie options.
Mhm.
So this really fun kind of history and geography brings us to the kind of early form of mostarda, which is honey and mustard seed. So it's a little bit different than what we have now. We have something that is made with mustard essence, which we'll get into a little bit. But the reason that this is such a unique product, and one of the reasons it's such a unique product, is because in 1929, the producer that was producing these mostardas closed and left kind of a gap. And it was for a long time kind of a regional preserve that really you could only get there, right? Until the 1990s.
Right.
You want to tell us why the 1990s?
So, in the 1990s, specifically 1991, Le Tamarici was established by Paola Calciolari, and who was previously a pharmacist, and decided, we have this incredible food, traditional recipes, took some of her grandmother's recipes, specifically was looking at some of these, fruit compotes and fruit, condiments, and said, specifically mostarda is something that we would really love to feature, and also was able to then bring that across the pond so that it's now something that we have in the United States. So you might not have had traditional Italian mostarda before, but now we're able to get that at Forever Cheese. So I was really lucky. I had the privilege a couple years ago to travel to Mantova to actually see Le Tamarici. I'll talk a little bit about what I got to see there, but it's incredible. It's all very traditional. It's all very much in many cases handmade artisanal product. And so beyond the mostardas, as I said, there's jellies, confitures, compotes, all manner of different condiments that come from there. So it's a really cool place. And when you hear Casa Forcello, that's specifically referring to this line of mostardas that we do with them.
And it's kind of made with a lot of local ingredients that's kind of indigenous to that region, which also makes it really unique and really special. And if not indigenous, then very much hand selected the farmers that they're working with. So any of the products that have this on it, it's going to be of the highest quality.
Exactly.
So that kind of brings us to mustard extract. What the heck is mustard extract? So we know what mustard seeds are. And like I said, there's the old version that had the mustard seeds crushed in honey versus the version that we have here, which is a preserve that has mustard essence, which is a highly concentrated distillate of the mustard. So it's volatile, and it's very powerful. In fact, it's so powerful that in their facilities, they have to utilize ventilation hoods, they have to wear gloves, they have to wear goggles to even handle it. It's really intense. But it really makes this beautiful impact on the product and brings like a unique, warm kind of zest and spice to the product, right? So the mustard essence is what gives mostarda its name and what gives mostarda its soul in essence is what I like to say.
Yeah.
So with that, we'll kind of talk a little bit about the 4 products that
Yeah.
we're going to be moving
Yeah,
towards.
and I also wanted to just adding to what you were saying about the mustard essence. One thing that we always like to really stress when we're talking about the mostardas is that mustard essence, the way that it is prepared, is the last thing that is added. It is added to the top of that jar. So if you look at any one of these jars, I'll try and hold this up so you can see it here. If you look at one of these jars, the very top of this, if I had just opened this jar, is going to be that mustard essence. So you want to make sure to stir it and incorporate it as soon as you open it. And you actually want to let it sit so that it can diffuse. I'm trying to get this right in the middle of the camera. There we go. And let it diffuse. What you don't want to do is jump right in there because you're just going to get all that mustard essence.
Yeah,
and
kind of like wasabi, right? Like if you were
it's
to
very
just
much that like
and eat, it
nasal.
would be
Yeah.
really powerful on your palate.
Yeah, and that's a good comparison. You know, you think mustard, what is that? It's sort of that very intense sort of nasal pep that you get from wasabi.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, so with that, we showed you that you always have to stir it, let it sit, and then by stirring it, you're evening out the flavor and letting that settle and kind of mix and balance the flavor of all of the mostardas.
Yeah.
So the first one we're going to kind of talk about is the pear mostarda here. So the pear mostarda is made with Mantovana pears. It comes from the Williams pear, which is an IGP pear of that region. So very special and very specific to the region there. And then they are using one tiny drop right when it's done and then capping it. So the pear mostarda, I think, balances this beautiful kind of light, sweet, delicate flavor along with this zest from the mustard essence. So with that, we have paired it with the prosciutto and a Marcona almond. 2 very classic, very different, but classic items. So like I said before, we know that historically it's paired with roasts, meats, big game, things like that, right? But we don't have big roast game or meat just hanging out at your counter or with your customers. I mean, I know you do, but we don't just have that in your shops, right? So we decided to go with prosciutto because it has this beautiful, delicate, buttery kind of essence that will balance the sweetness, the zestiness, and then the Mercana gives it a little bit of a crunch, a little bit of a buttery kind of balance, all within a bite. So easily merchandisable or easily cross merchandisable, easily, you know, you could just throw it on a demo and throw it into samples really fast because, you know, these products are some products that I think we all probably are aware of and have access to.
Exactly.
So
Yeah,
that's why we've chosen these.
Exactly. And you'll see with a lot of these pairings, these are things that we think you can actually cross merchandise, cross sell with these. One nice thing, the pear mostarda, Kai was showing you the smaller jars, which you see a bunch of those. In the pear, we actually stock this larger format. And this is one that we've seen applied. Kick this over here into the camera zone here. This is a 500-gram jar. And so this is nice if you just need that bigger format. Kind of less common to see it at retail, although you could sell this at retail. But this will be good for food service, larger events, any sort of larger application. So with the pear, that's actually one of the ones that we, along with the, actually, yeah. Which one?
The green tomato?
The green. Yeah, we have this 500-gram format and a couple of these, but the pear we actually stock, which is good.
Oh, yes.
A couple of the other ones we have to pre-order.
Yes.
But the pear we have the 500-gram stocked. But you'll see the rest of these we're going through those 4.9-ounce jars, which is what we see at retail. So pear, awesome flavor. The next one that we're going to talk about here, wait, let me make sure I pick up the right one. We're going to talk about the crab apple. This is the crab apple mostarda. You may be asking yourself, why not just do an apple?
Yeah,
and it's because this crab apple, again, we were talking about local ingredients. We were talking about, you know, being really true to the terroir and the territory. This is going to be, you know, a very common crab apple that you're going to find around the area where these mostardas are produced. And so in terms of how does it differ from a regular apple, this is, you know, going to be, you know, kind of a, it's a tangy apple. It's sweet. It's kind of firm. I would say by itself might not be as much flavor interest as you might get from an apple that you and I might pick up upstate New York. But that's what makes it a great ingredient for mostarda, which is, it's got good flavor. It's a nice traditional item, but then you candy it, add that sugar, add the mustard essence, and it really brings out something really special.
Which is perfect for such a tart style of
Exactly.
apple, which brings us kind of to our pairing.
Yes. So you want to talk about, we've got a seeded cracker, our Loma, which is this is the Loma Iberica. This is a full cut, but this also does come in a pre-slice. But you want to talk about that pairing?
Absolutely. So we kind of did two different pairings. One that's about light flavor, nice texture, a little bit seedy. Again, you want to, when pairing this, you want to get both the actual pieces of fruit and the kind of sugars from the liquid that's in the jar. They both bring their own kind of flavor. The fruit a little bit more sweet, the rest of the liquid a little bit more of that zest and sugar. So the perfect balance. Make sure to get both when you're making your pairings or using it or even suggesting it to customers. So the seeded cracker as well as the Lomo is going to be a little bit more mellow in flavor versus the chorizo has a little bit more of a bite. It's a little bit more, it's got a touch of spice, but it's not super spicy. But the cornichon really brings out the sweetness in the fruit and brings out a little bit of the brine and kind of cuts through the fatty, kind of juicy texture of the chorizo. So two really different pairings. Again, ideas for you to say, well, this is a really fun idea for you to go try out for people who are looking to do other things with mostarda, right?
Yes. So again, this crab apple comes in the 4.9 ounce. You can get it on pre-order in the 500 gram as well. You just have to plan ahead a little bit on that one.
Yeah. Well, if you're doing an event,
exactly,
it makes sense for you too.
And next on the slate.
So the next one we're going to be talking about is the green tomato one. So the green tomato mostarda, again, sliced green tomatoes, candied, and then drop of mustard extract. This is one of the ones that are a little bit more chunky in texture. So when you're stirring, you really have to stir it. And then when you're making bites out of it, you are really going to have to kind of pull it apart. But it's got this really beautiful, voluptuous texture, a little bit of sweetness. I actually think that it's one of the sweeter ones when I was tasting them alongside each other, which I was a little surprised by, but I really loved. So we are pairing this with the Serrano and a Castelvetrano olive. Why those things? Because the Serrano has a little bit more of a gamey kind of note to it. The Castelvetrano gives you a little bit of the brine and a little bit of that sweetness. So you have that balance of brine, buttery, game, sweet. That really brings out the slight acidity and sweetness in the mostarda.
They all sort of have similar flavors, but brought out in different ways, and at the same time are kind of complementary to each other, I find.
Yeah, so I think the green tomato is a really fun one to pair with, and a really like fun, esoteric, unique thing to kind of have a story and talk to your customers about. I feel like that one is, people are like, green tomato,
yeah,
which is fun.
It's fun. It's different. Same with crab apple. These are kind of, people know about pears, but once you start talking about the crab apple and it's just really cool to talk about these ingredients in addition to the products themselves.
And again, the 4.9 ounce is
also available in the 500 gram in a pre-order. So make sure to plan ahead for your big events. Speaking of, ingredients that are just a little off to the left or right, we've got a white watermelon mostarda. Now you might be saying to yourself, watermelons aren't white. Watermelons are red. And that I say, not this watermelon. This is a white watermelon. So this is going to be also a native ingredient. What's interesting about white watermelon is, again, maybe not going to be that, it's not going to be the watermelon that you're reaching for in the produce. But what it is it's a little bit different. It's actually used to help cultivate traditional watermelon as well. And oh, I got to switch back. This is why we have a producer, because they want to. You don't want to see my face. So yeah, so this is actually used with the cultivation of the other watermelons, but and by itself, again, might not be the ingredient that you reach for by itself in this format, in the Mostarda format. Again, brings out this incredible essence of this unique fruit.
And the essence of this line and the essence of these mostardas, I think that there's an emphasis on this one in sustainability and
Yes.
in using every part, right?
Absolutely.
And using everything that you can. And the original kind of essence of mostarda, which is having those preserves live on into the winter.
Yeah, so this is you know, with the white watermelon, again, I just want to just really quickly talk about my experience. I got to see this handmade. I mean, these are all handmade products. The fruit is being broken down. Really, it's only that last process of milling it into the tiniest pieces. Everything else is done truly by hand at Le Tamarici. It's an incredible process. Then they bring it over to the candying device, which is this machine that dehydrates it and injects it with the sugar. And then finally, that last sort of, it's almost like a hazmat area where they're adding this like little incredible like poof of mustard essence. It was really cool to see. This one in particular, I got to see prepared. So I always will carry that with me. It's a cool product. We paired it with our pre-sliced salami rustico and a cherry tomato. You want to talk about that?
Yeah, so this one is kind of again, I think the lightest of all the pairings because it is the salami rustico gives it a little bit of a base, juicy, slightly buttery from the fat, and then you get that like fresh pop of like sweet tomato, slight acidity that brings out the sweetness, brings out the flavor in the white watermelon. So I think this was one of my favorites just because of
Very
that.
simple,
Yeah.
but also really delicious.
Really delicious. Again,
Fresh.
easy to find,
Yeah.
Easy to pair together.
Yep.
So I really love this one. But the mustard extract, which is something that I forgot to talk a little bit
Yes.
about, is a controlled substance, right?
It's
And that's kind of the link between the story of this product, right? So it is incredibly hard to get.
Yep.
And it's in the caring and amazing hands of the people at Casa Forcello or the people at Le Tamarici.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, you may see mostardas around, but that true mustard essence, it's not as common to see that coming through in the product. So,
which also makes it a really unique product.
Yeah. So we're getting a little tight on time here, so I just am going to wrap up here. Mention that in addition, like I said, to these incredible mostardas, Le Tamarici is producing a whole line of jellies, compotes, and then we were again. We don't, if we had all day, we would talk about these all day. But there are additional, in addition to the four that we highlighted, there's also an orange chocolate mostarda, really tasty, as good as it sounds. Pink grapefruit with that tartness. Plum, which is probably one of our, you know, next to pear, one of our most popular, and all those other products. So, yeah, that's Casa Forcello for you, folks. So I wanted to quickly, before we take questions, if we could bring on our guests, if they are here still.
Excellent.
Hey everyone.
So we kind of teed them up a little bit. Say hi to Rocco and Paula from Le Tamarici.
Thank you so much for the great introduction. Great job. You did your homework very, very well.
I know.
Very, very well.
Thanks for watching. We have to get all the facts right.
No,
Hopefully we got
for
most of it right.
I think we did.
No, I mean, there's not really much to add. It was actually pretty thorough. I mean, I'm just gonna say, like, everyone, buy a jar and try for yourself, and you know, have fun. We have a ton of different stuff. It's part of the game, you know, to try for yourself, and that's really probably the best way to actually learn what it is and how to use it, especially, you know.
I think it's a really good point. We can talk all day about how cool this stuff is, but you have to try
We
it.
could do the full-
And if you want samples or if you want to get your
Yeah.
hands on some from Forever Cheese, you know, either talk to your rep if you have one. You can always shoot something over to info@forevercheese.com, but talk to us. We'll get you samples. And yeah, we really like Rocco said, like just really important to try it and have that experience. Yeah, so
Any-
are there any questions?
questions?
We don't have any questions in the
Okay.
chat.
Beautiful.
If anybody has any questions, we encourage you, like I said, if you're working with a rep at Forever Cheese, please hit us with those questions. Info@forevercheese.com. I will also see those emails and check in with you. But other than that, it's really been a pleasure.
Yeah,
We're
thank you
excited
guys.
for you to try these. It's just when we talk about unique products, it doesn't get much more unique than the Casa Forcello Mostardas.
Yeah, so if you guys do end up doing any pairings, please let us know what fun pairings you guys come up with.
Yes.
And hopefully you're inspired by some of the pairings, the fun and kind of new things to pair alongside these products.
We actually did get a question.
Oh, we got a question.
Question.
The shelf life once opened, you know, this was something I wrote down,
100?
but it's long, is what it is.
It's 100 days, correct?
I think that's right. I think it's 100 days.
That's correct, right, Rocco?
Yes, Rocco says yes.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, these are basically like naturally preserved, so they really will, they'll last a long time.
But I will say the longer you have it open,
Mhm.
the more the mustard essence will start to dissipate. So we always recommend, as soon as you open it, just know that slowly over time, you'll get less and less of that mustard essence.
Yeah, it's
So-
basically almost like an essential oil. It just will like
Because it's so
fade over
volatile.
time. It's very volatile,
Mhm.
which is what makes it incredible. I
Yes.
mean, can't stress enough. This is a controlled substance. It's good stuff.
Yeah.
Get in there, get some.
But yeah,
Anything
any
else?
other questions?
That was all.
Okay.
That's it. All right.
All right, folks. Well, thank you so much
Thank
for
you so
joining
much.
us. We're going to be sending out, keep an eye on this space.
Mhm.
We're going to be sending out, we're actually sort of doing a lot of planning over the year of some of the cool webinars that we have coming up. And so keep an eye out for those. It's going to be a really exciting year, I think, for webinars and for educating you guys and getting you involved in our products and teaching you about them. So
Yeah.
keep an eye out.
Yeah.
And other than that,
Bye, guys. See you soon.
Thank you,
So much
guys.
for having
Bye.
us.
thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
And thank you, everybody who joined today. Enjoy your afternoon. Toodaloo.